2000, I came here with Randy Mueller. Randy was hired to be the general manager, and I was coming to be, assistant general manager, director of administration. And look, I had known and met Mr. Benson, been around him in a lot of league meetings when I was in Seattle for a long, long time. So I wouldn't say that we had a relationship, but I knew him and man, just admired him from afar because of how far he'd come, self-made man, and the things that he'd done with the Saints, especially with Jim Finks and Jim Mora, and turn around the franchise and winning games and being one of the better teams in the league. And just look, we played him a few times when I was with the Seahawks, and the outcome wasn't really very good for those teams. So that was my first impression, was that man, this is a man to be admired and paid attention to. I think the things that I will cherish and remember, the personal moments. Times that we would sit on the back of his boat and have a glass of wine, or the dinners that we would have together on the road sometimes, and man, he just would kind of let his guard down and give you some wisdom through the stories that he would tell about his past, and about how, whether they were stories from his military days in the Navy, or his early days in the dealership, or even some of the later days in San Antonio, stories about how he acquired the Saints. There was always some wisdom in there that he would impart through the story, and he always had a great way of kind of concluding it with, a little gem that you could take with you and apply to, your current life. To have an organization that people enjoyed working for, that was important to him. Obviously, he wanted to be successful, and he's emotional about winning, and he was emotional when we lost too. So. I think that competitiveness and the desire to be part of the fabric of New Orleans is what will last with these franchises forever. Obviously, it was immensely important to him. Immensely important. It just because I know he felt like he helped bring this championship to the city, and that the city deserved it, and that. All those years of the Saints and not winning one, and then Katrina, and to have the Super Bowl championship under his watch, I know that gave him a lot of satisfaction, and yet his satisfaction came from the joy that others received from it. He's like, in many ways, like all of our fans that have been longtime fans of the Saints. It meant as much to them as it could to anyone, and he was right there among them. I think you can definitely say that he saved two franchises for New Orleans, and that's what it was for. It wasn't because he had this vision that they were going to be, worth the kind of money that they're worth now. It was that, man, we need to keep these franchises here for the city of New Orleans. I know that was his motivation, and he felt like he was the steward of that, and man, we're lucky that we had him.